Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I want to present my paper assignment in LTC UMY for English 5 paper presentation. First, I like to introduce my title. It's about student perspective about Middle East conflicts. My name is Aldil Muhan Muhammad Mardika. My student number is 2019-05-1098 from Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta University, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Alright, in introduction, conflict in Middle East occurred in the first decade of the 20th. The Middle East became a struggle for countries in Europe to expand the Middle East region. This prolonged conflict certainly cannot be separated from the emergence of crisis in various aspects and the many victims who fell as a result of the impact of the phenomenon. Of course, this conflict will not only affect the Middle East region, but also international world politics. There is a question from Ahmad Saidi. They say conflict in the Middle East also vary with state-based conflict, such as Iraq-Kuwait conflict, which is caused by political problem and border factors. Caused by border, which caused the migration process to run very intensively. Religious factors, Eastern countries is very thick with a very complex understanding of religious thought. The religious ideology of two schools of thought, namely Sunni and Shia ideology. The Middle East country is rich and known as a source of oil and has met this condition on area that is being conquered by big actors such as US and Russia. However, this conflict sustainably attract various groups of students to make this phenomenon into research. Until now, the conflict in the Middle East have had quite a big impact, both in terms of interest and losses. All right, next is literature review. In international politics, of course, the conflict in the Middle East attracts the attention of many parties because it creates a humanitarian crisis. Religious factor has been very important in shaping in the discourse of Middle East conflict and in understanding its true dimension. It has been the case historically and should not be expected to diminish anytime soon. However, its religion is more likely than any other variable in the absence of tolerance to lead to dogmatism and compromised sentence. It's that from Ali 2004. Compared to other regions, peace agreements in the Middle East are relatively rare. Conflict severity, the number of actors, and protracted nature of some conflict all make it difficult to reach a negotiated peace reconciliation. This quotation from Malik 2020. From the reason and theory produced by Sahide, Jarwono, Ali, and Palik, where the research project can support the activities of academic goal and to find out how the origin conflict of Middle East produce a crisis that can become a potential for new academic studies and generate about perspective of student about it. However, students are less sensitive to raise the issue of Middle East conflict. Next is method. This research was conducted by international relations student of Muhammadiyah University of Yogyakarta who are still active for final year study and early year student. This questionnaire will be conducted based on an online questionnaire. Students are expected to be able to answer several questions from the context of the questionnaire. The answers given depend on the choice of the student own opinion voluntarily. Next is result. Firstly, the result is the participant will be answer from the question that the writer did. Like, do you agree that conflict in the Middle East is to achieve the interest of each of the parties involved? This the student from this diagram in this side is strongly agree about this statement because it's confirmed that many actors are involved to get their interest in this series of Middle Eastern conflict. It is very ironic that in reality there are actors who take advantage of conflict without realizing that there must be a life to fight for in this action. Participants realized and give answers that were dominated by strongly agree. And then the result number 2. Do you agree if conflict was in the Middle East affect with the political global agenda? They were saying that they agree because the participant is very well realized that in the Middle East conflict has caused political instability at the global level, which has a very bad impact on international security stability. It's very bad for political international things. And then the result number 3 is in the realm of interest. Do you agree that this conflict is fueled by political, religious, and foreign interests? The participants said that quite agree because the cause of Middle East conflict about this has become a general study that the wider communities know. Of course, in terms of their interest, they only get injured from the conflict itself. And then the result number 4. In terms of international stability, do you agree that the conflict in the Middle East still continue? Most of the participants, 75% of 20 participants is saying that they are strongly not agree because the participants very realized that the Middle East conflict had caused a lot of losses, but property and life, and did not get anything from the result of this interest. So it would be very reasonable if the conflict does not take place continuously because it's harmed many victims in that phenomena. And the last result is, do you agree if there are effort to reconcile Middle East conflict? It's very dominating, right? It's saying that 70% is very agree and 30% is agree. That means they are agree. And then that because they think both victim and the international community need a resolution to end this endless Middle Eastern conflict. Even that there are so many things that should have been victim in the conflict. So discussion. We got I got two of the discussion which is similar from the previous journal study. Say the result of the data which majority agree are in accordance with previous research, which state that the Middle East conflict is able to influence global politics in the statement that this conflict will not only take effect of the Middle East region, but also international and world politics. It starts from Side 211. It's very similar to Ahmad Saidi research, which continued to emphasize in his book that his conflict not only affect the Middle East region, but it's also able to attract global attention and politics. And then the result data number two, most of which is participants agree on the statement that many actors were involved in this conflict, were in accordance with previous research from PALIC 220, 2020, I'm sorry, state that in the conflict there were many actors involved which hindered a peaceful reconciliation effort to stop the conflict. The research from PALIC confirmed that the data above that there are actors who always play to gain advantage over the suffering of the conflict. And then next is limitation. In the study, there are limitations because this research has 20 participants, and I strongly agree that it's not represent the data, but it can be supported by all students majoring in international relation, Muhammadiyah University of Yogyakarta, most of who have a background in study of Middle East, especially Middle East conflict. This research is quantitative with data collection technique through a questionnaire. In addition, this data only takes 4 journals as reference, theories, and supporting this research. And then the last is conclusion. The issue of Middle East conflict provides an overview of various statements about what caused it, who was involved, the purpose of the phenomenon, and how peace will occur or not. From the analysis above, it is concluded that they agree on a peaceful solution to be reached in the area. However, they act as if this conflict is for their own interest. The study also has many resolutions from the student perspective, a good impact as a result of the above data. With the above data, it is hoped that it will be able to trigger more in-depth and specific studies on the Middle East conflict. That's all from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.